Welcome to the Good Rookies podcast. My name is Faheem.
My name is Nelly J, and we are Good Rookies.
That's right.
What up, y'all? This is Good Rookies podcast. You know what it is, y'all. It's Good Tuesday, and it is episode 18. Yo, guys, we started this journey on the Good Rookies flagship literally in August, and now we are in December. We are so humbled. We're grateful. And yeah, guys, this is now the end of the year for him. Like 2020 is soon done, bro. But we have an amazing guest on this podcast today, y'all. So for him, please introduce who we got.
All right. So we have creator and host of the Sundé Social. Let's welcome Nate to the podcast.
Thank you guys.
Nate. Nate.
That's the crowd, huh?
He was like, Nate. What up, Nate, man? I swear, for him, had these weird quirks. I tell you, it's hilarious. So Nate, bro, how you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain. I mean, I could complain, but it just seems futile with so much going on and still being blessed with what I have. You know, still working, still living, still doing it.
Exactly. And Nate, it's funny because like I haven't seen you since Super Bowl.
Yeah.
When it was the Niners playing the Chiefs. Remember, we had a good debate about who should win.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this guy knows his football. Like, okay, you hang with Nelly. All right, you're good. So yeah, so I'm like, you know what? He would be an amazing guest to come on because you do so much for the community, for us, for the culture. So I just want to get into more of that. But just, kind of break down for us, like, why do you do that? Like, what made you want to give back to the culture even before COVID? I feel like now people are doing it because it's trendy and stuff like that. But like, you've been doing stuff for the culture before it was even cool. So why have you devoted your time, your energy, right, towards kind of bringing Black people together and kind of curating wonderful artists and musicians?
I think, like, if I'm honest, it's just a part of my purpose, my path. Growing up, my family, my parents, my grandparents were all foster parents and ran group homes. And as I was trying to figure out life, high school, college, kind of what I want to do, what I think is going to work for me versus what I'm called to do, kind of thing, I kept being pulled back to assisting people in everything I did. I grew up playing sports. I grew up mentoring. I grew up like working at camps. So I thought I wanted to go into business, and it turned out I wanted to help in anything I do, specifically youth, mainly youth. But then I realized I'm not fulfilled if I'm working something where I don't get to actually, where there's not a give back portion, right? So I went into social work. Now I work with youth in custodies as a social worker. But also I'm very big on my community, and I have many passions, one of them being music. And I see how important two things, music and sports, are to uplifting our community, to our building, to our ability to see things and to go beyond what our circumstances tell us we're supposed to be at. So I kind of tried to combine them with Sundé Social. It's an event that it brings together entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs, including artists and musicians, and kind of forces us now to dispel the narrative that we can't work with Black people because they're all a certain way. That doesn't make sense. If they're all a certain way and all of us are business owners and we all have to go fight in a world where we don't see ourselves, then why not help build a world where we do see ourselves and build that trust and build that network, but do it our way. So that's kind of what the mandate is for Sundé Social.
No, I love it. I will definitely do a deeper dive into Sundé Social because I've been to it multiple times and I love it. So definitely want to educate the family, the Good Rookies family, and what you've been up to.
Yeah.
So Faheem, bro, let's take it away to our zoned in.
All right. So Nate, I understand you love two things. You love ball and you love football, right?
Yeah.
So let's get into some NFL. Just some predictions in regards to who you think the MVP is going to be.
Who I think? How much time we got, really?
I know, right? It's kind of hard. I have three. Who do you have for yours?
I have three.
Okay.
I have the one who I think will end up winning most likely.
Mm-hmm.
His unfortunately, because of his game last week, his runner up, and then who I kind of want to win, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I think because the NFL is a game of stories and they tug at heartstrings, and there's a history that this man has, and even in the beginning of his own story, this is kind of what happened with Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he's a stud. He's phenomenal. He's been consistent, and you can see from when he came in, kind of, you know, pushing out Brett Favre, and then you can see, you know, the year he had last year, which was subpar. You can see with them using their first round pick to bring in, what's his name, Love, the young QB,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see what kind of play he's been bringing forth.
Yeah, that kind of pissed him off. Like, oh, you want a QB here? Okay, I'm gonna show
Right,
y'all
like,
who I be. I love
right.
Aaron.
I don't know if it pissed him off, but just like, you know, how Michael Jordan uses certain things to push him, I think
Motivation.
most of the greats do, right?
He took it
So
personal. You're saying he took it personal. The
yes,
draft.
yes, and of course, you know, before Love came, he no competitor wants to not say that this is going to be their best season yet. You know what I mean? But when you look at his game, other than, you know, the 1-2 mishap games, he's just solid. He's phenomenal. But then you have, you know, that young boy, Mr. Mahomes, who, like, it's so hard for me not to root for. Like, already, I just root for everybody black. Like, that's just what it is. But like, to see, first of all, what this last few years of QBs, of black QBs, is doing to the league, you know, it's weird that that is still, in this day and age, exciting to me. Like, you know what I mean? To see these young black QBs come and
Yo, they're
change the
coming out
face.
of the gate though. Like there's so
Yo,
many.
right? So for him, I was so excited. I am so excited for him and all his success. And I thought that, like, before last week, even though he won, those 3 turnovers, like those 3 interceptions, were kind of what, like, set him apart from Rodgers and still kept him on the just above Rodgers. So with that happening, like, he needs to flatten, who's their national game against? The Saints. He needs to flatten them and go for some ridiculous numbers, and then do the same thing the next 2 weeks to get himself back in that driver's seat. However, it's hard to bet against Rodgers because you see what Rodgers has done.
Yeah.
But then this brings me to, I played football, high school, college. I was a 2-sport athlete, but running back was my position.
Okay.
So Derrick Henry, like, he's beastly. Like, when I see him play, he reminds me of Adrian Peterson. He's a bit bigger. His stiff arms are disgusting, and he's not. His cutbacks don't look to me as clean as AP's, but he has some nasty cutbacks that is like, how did you guys not tackle him? Like, you know what I mean? And he's having a crazy year. He's on pace to break the record. His team is number 1 in their division, and he rises to the occasion. Look, when they played the number 2 seed in their division, he got up there and he smashed them with 3 touchdowns. Like, he made a statement. So I'm hoping he's seeing what's going on and how he's kind of left out of the conversation, and through the rest of the season, he just makes statements. That's my hope.
Yeah. No, some good points. Like my 3. So I think two of mine is similar to yours. So Aaron Rodgers, as well as you mentioned Mahomes. I agree with those 2. But my 3rd one is Russ, Mr. Wilson.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, that's my boy. Like, he just surpassed. Like, he's had the most winning seasons ever. He has 9 in a row. That's history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's been consistent.
Yeah.
Right. And Seattle hasn't had the best defense in the last couple of years. So he's doing all this great things with his shorter stature, right? But just mostly mental and will. Like, a lot of players, Russ was never granted as a top player ever. But when he came in the NFL, he made everyone wrong. So I just think it's due time that he wins MVP. Like, I'm on the MVP Russ train. But I get it's hard because Aaron Rodgers, incredible. Mahomes, like, incredible. So, but I feel like Russ deserves it. I really do. And I know it's popularity because the media votes and stuff like that, but I really hope Russ does make it because his team is doing a lot better because of him. Because their defense sucks and they're still in the ranks for the playoffs.
So me, as well documented, I'm NFL casual. So I'm like, I tune into games here and there, definitely catch all the highlights. One thing I can say is I think it's all about Mahomes. But the three names you listed, actually, well, there's four names out there. But the names you listed in regards to Mahomes, Rodgers, third one I have to go with Russ also.
Okay.
Either one of those three.
Yeah.
But I just want to throw a little something out because we're talking about the MVP. I just want to mention, do you guys know what year the last time the MVP was not a QB?
2012 to Adrian Peterson.
Wow, this guy's no joke.
Yo, I told you, bro.
He is no joke. You. Not even batting an eye. One
they
time.
Got serious.
One time. That's
No,
right.
I'm biased though. I'm just biased. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a running back, so it's like I watch the game for them. Everybody else is a bonus. So yeah.
Yeah.
And you know who was before that?
Who?
LaDainian Tomlinson. 06.
Oh yes.
That's right.
And
No,
that was a
you're no joke.
year.
Yo, he beasted that year, bro. He beasted that year. I remember that. In fantasy, woo.
Yeah, he was disgusting, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So you listed three. So give me one that you think, Nate. Who do you think is gonna win?
Dang. If it was last week, I would say Mahomes.
So you're saying 1 week can completely flip
in football?
in 1 week?
This is what happens in football with 1 week. 1 week of like turnovers, it really tells you either
3 interceptions for him
okay.
game.
So you're either going to kind of roll with that side, or which I hope he does, is just step up and say, no, you're not taking this from me. I gotta get this because I want him. I want him to win it.
All right, so we'll see then. We'll see how this pans out then. Nelly J, anything else on this one?
Nah, man. Just, all I know 2020, I'm hoping Mahomes or Russ, to be honest, because we rooting for everybody black, son. That's what it is right now. So we need this win, y'all. Vote.
Rodgers had his time, man.
So for the NBA, LiAngelo Ball, the Randy of the balls. There's the Michael, Tito, and Randy.
I can't stand you.
Not the Jackson 5.
The Jackson 5. Oh, I can't stand Faheem, y'all. I can't stand him, y'all.
So he got cut by the Pistons.
Yeah.
And so he came after, like he's the older brother of LaMelo. So he's the middle. He's the middle child, right?
Poor middle child. I'm a middle child. It's rough, man. It's a rough thing.
So
it is.
So I guess, LeVar's Ball legacy, he says with the three boys will be out. Quick question. Anyone think he's going to land anywhere else? Or do you think this is pretty much it for him?
Nah, I think this will motivate him. I think, remember, LiAngelo has a rough history, right? He was caught stealing in China. Then he got suspended or whatever. And then he pulled him out of school, went to Lithuania. His brother Melo has been he's always been a talented one. Like out of all the three brothers, everyone knew from young this guy's gonna be different, right?
Yep.
But I think it's hard because LiAngelo sees Melo is so good. And it's like, wow, like I'm good too, but my little brother is like really good. So I think it also affects your like mental confidence in yourself. But I think LiAngelo, hopefully he takes time to just work on his game. I saw a really amazing quote from Lethal Shooter. And he was like, yo, people are laughing at LiAngelo Ball, but he'll come back stronger and better. And I hope he does. Like, I don't wish ill on the guy, but I feel like he's had a lot of bad luck in the last 2 years, and I really hope. And this year, I'm like, you know what? I was kind of happy. Like, yo, Detroit, good job, but he had an ankle injury. And they're like, you know what? We're not going to keep you with this injury. We're not sure what's going to happen. So I really think him being dropped was more for the injury, not because he wasn't good enough. I think that injury kind of said, you know what? If you're going to be injured, I have an ankle injury, like why pay you on our payroll? Yeah. So I don't know.
I think it's just a part of his story, to be honest. Like a lot of times we see these studs who come straight from, well, back in the day, high school, but one and done in university and go to the league, and they're either a bust or they're great. But we forget that there's still hundreds of other players who had to go in and out of the league, in and out of G League before they were considered a stud, before they got their shine. So I think for him, it's still a blessing, because before this, he didn't have two things. One, the experience of what practice looks like in the NBA, and two, a team that actually took a chance on him. Now he can leverage both of those things for whatever next team he talks to now. Now, at least, it's not just his dad's big mouth that has him in the league. It's also his work ethic. I would caution him, because I know the knock on him is kind of he's more of a game time player, not great at practice. And I know until you become a starter, until you become an all-star superstar, you have to be a practice player. So I know those are some of the things that have been said about him as well. But I do think it's gonna build that character he needs to take on the next opportunity with everything he has.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this. When was the last time, and this is for the floor, when's the last time you guys seen LiAngelo Ball play ball?
I haven't seen him since 2018.
Right.
Yeah,
That's fact I'm making. In high school, did the circuit. College, went to UCLA, did nothing. Last year, after college, had a whole year, did nothing. Now this is the year he got a chance and he got cut. I think the writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
There's a lot of basketball players out there, and just because you don't play in the NBA doesn't mean that you're not a baller. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
True.
But not everyone's cut for the NBA, and I think the writing's
Yeah.
on the wall that he's not cut for the NBA, and there's no shame in that. He can go play in Europe. I think he possibly has a European game, you know. But it's if he wasn't a ball, this is actually really a story, because of the fact that he's a ball. He has a brother before him and after him. If he wasn't who he was, he'd just be another college player who just didn't have what it takes to cut it. That's it. That's, you know.
Yeah, you know what? That's a fair point. I really think that it's hard, you know what I'm saying? Because I've had a pressured father pressuring me to do something that I didn't want to do. It's hard to say your dad, like, I don't want to do this. So we don't know if LiAngelo even wants to pursue basketball. He may love basketball, but I feel sometimes, like, when your parents put this pressure on you to be something and it's harder than it is, it adds more pressure. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, who knows? Like, at the end of the day, I think he's so young. Like, what, he's 21, 20? How old is he? He's a pick-me. He's so young. Like, he has a lot of life to learn. And a lot can change in 5 years or 2 years, even 1 year. You know, like this year, like I felt like this year was like 8 years in one. You know what I'm saying? So a lot can happen, a lot can change. So, like you said, it could be his career over, but it could be that he comes back even stronger and better. Like, no one knows. But all we can do is just kind of, I guess, have our popcorn and watch LeVar go off on Detroit, which he did yesterday.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, I think, for him, try and play in the G League.
Yeah.
If he can't cut it in the G League, then head to Europe. I mean, he's a ball. If they need people in the stands, regardless. So there's still a spot for him. But no, not even trying to be rude. I'm just being real.
I know.
No, but honestly, like, no one's crying for him because his stuff is set. Like, he if he does do well in the G League, cool. If he doesn't, his name's big enough that he can go, especially if he actually loves the sport, he can play Europe, China, do all that. He'll be fine. Yeah,
real talk.
All right, so you heard about the Cleveland name change.
And next one, they all should have the name change. All of them, Blackhawks, everybody. Like, so the come a whole year after Washington football team.
Right. So like you're mentioning, there's still out there. There's still the Atlanta Braves, still the Kansas City Chiefs, still the Chicago Blackhawks. There's still others, but Cleveland Indians is the first one to actually do this and make the change. Like you were just mentioning, Nelly J, they're delaying it a year.
Yeah. So the owner said, it's kind of hard to pick a new name, bro. You're a billionaire, bro. Just pay like a marketing guru and have them have your name changed. Like, I don't understand these guys who act like name changes are this hard. Like, is it that hard for him, Nate? Like, we'll talk. How hard can it be to have your name from the Indians? Indians is the most disrespectful name. So anything you pick will be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything.
But also, you don't have, like, you're in Cleveland. Do you know what the other team names are? It's not that difficult to follow. One is after a color, guys. There's no way that you can't change from Cleveland Indians to something better than a color. Like, come on.
It's such a simple thing, man. Call it Cleveland Ballers or Cleveland Bats. Like, look at that. Look at that, y'all. Pay me for my idea, because it's that simple. I don't understand. It's excuses. It's excuses. But he did say upcoming season it will still be called Indian, but they will be changing it. Hopefully, listen. If by next year they have no new name, I swear to you, just call it baseball team, the Cleveland baseball team. Just follow Washington.
They have teams named after socks. There is no way that it's difficult to pick a name.
So from the year 2000, they've been asking the league to refrain from using the Chief Wahoo, the character. They said it's a gross characterization of an Indian. And it wasn't until 2016. So it took them 16 years to finally accept that. So their name obviously wasn't always the Indians. So there is a man, like everyone actually Google him, because I actually figured this out myself by doing my own research. His name is Louis Sockalexis. I'll repeat it again, Louis Sockalexis. The reason why I mentioned him is this. When we think of baseball and we think of the color barrier, we think of Jackie Robinson as being the first black, right? In 1890, Cleveland had a name. I'll give you one of three. It's either the Spiders, the Seagulls, or the Spirit. Which one do you think it was in 1890?
Probably the dumbest one. The Seagulls.
No, it was the Spiders. They're called Spiders. So, in 1890, they're called the Spiders. And they signed this Louis Sockalexis. Okay, he's an outfielder. And he was a Native American. Now, at the time when they signed him, remember, this is 1890. Jackie Robinson came in the 1940s. So about 50 years before Jackie Robinson. At the time, they used, because he was the first non-white to play in baseball. So Louis Sockalexis, they were actually calling the Cleveland team the Indians, but not in an affectionate way, right? So they went to like 5, 6, 7, a ton of name changes over the next maybe 10, 15 years. And in 1915, they actually called themselves the Cleveland Indians due to the fact that of Louis Sockalexis and him being an Indian. So that's where it kind of derives from. So it's two-part here that I didn't know. We have to really give Louis Sockalexis his props, first of all, because he is really the first to break the color barrier in baseball.
Yeah, right? It was him.
It was him, right? So once again, I look it up. Louis Sockalexis, Sockalexis.
Pick up Louis, bro.
One to grow on.
Oh boy. You learn everything on Good Rookies, y'all. Every episode. You learn something new, man. No, but I'm happy, and I like real talk. We need all the teams to have the name change, like all of them, not just like every team. If your team is derogatory, disrespectful to a human being or a culture or a community, have your name changed, man. Stop this foolishness. Change it.
No, for real. And think about it. It took 16 years for them to even come on board. From 2000 to 2016 to even change their logo. So, I mean, imagine how much longer we have to wait for like the Braves and the Chiefs and the Blackhawks and these other ones also, right? So I guess we'll keep an eye on it, but hopefully whatever name they choose, I think they're making a mistake by waiting. They should do it right now.
Do it right now. It's the best opportunity, marketing in terms of like having like, it'll make their season a lot better, because with a new name, a new face, like new everything. But waiting a whole year, listen, that old, anyways, I'm going to call the man, because I'm the billionaire, but the owner, clearly he doesn't want to, he wants to wait to pick the perfect name because it's so important. No one cares, bro. Like, baseball doesn't have that much viewership anyways. Y'all acting like people are vouching for Cleveland. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So extra.
So you guys heard about James Harden?
Right.
Who, Harden? Oh, that kid? Yo, he played. Yo, he also he kind of got a little hefty, little thick as man.
Off season's
Get a
been
good
good to
month
him.
off, bro. I'm like, James, you were off for a month. How much were you eating, bro? Like he was off for a whole month. This guy got thick. he got Kyle Lowry thick.
Harden, he just came out that he had the final call on the Rockets personnel moves, firings, and anyone who's joined the team since 2012.
Wow.
So he's getting his LeBron on right now. What do you guys think of this, especially if someone who's been obviously not very successful as a GM?
I'm not surprised. Faheem, I said this. What was it? A few weeks ago, I said, yo, Harden's probably making all the calls. And you're like, I'm not sure. I'm like, Faheem, trust me, he is, because just how sporadic their team has so many different personnel coming in and out. And I'm like, yo, who's deciding these changes so quickly and abruptly? Like, it can't be an actual, like a calm-headed individual. And Harden, as you can see, he seems very impatient. He's coming off very much like a diva, right? He was saying how like he was flying to Atlanta for personal training. Bro, what training were you doing in Atlanta, bro? Because we're not seeing no training on you, okay? Like Andrew Wiggins got some training done. You, James Harden, I don't see any training. But he's been flying around. So I'm just like, what's going on? Like he said he missed training camp because of personal training. And they said, doing what? He's like, well, personal training. Really? So anyway, I don't know. I just feel that like Harden, he's been very sporadic. I don't know why the Rockets allowed him to do what he did, but I get it. He's a superstar. You want him to be happy. But now look what happens. He wants to leave y'all with nothing. You know what I mean? Like it's just crazy.
It's interesting just seeing how the league has changed so much. Just thinking of like, Jordan's time where they really didn't have much to say with what went on in front office unless you were big as Jordan. Whereas now, or at least in between then and now where, someone like LeBron picks what teams he goes to. And then now where someone like James Harden is making those kind of calls. In one sense, I'm happy because like a lot of sports, it's very much a slave ship where you have Massa telling you what you're doing and trading you whenever he wants. But then also the other side of it is it's difficult when this is the case because of what it may do to that team, what it may do, to both sides of the league, period, and then what it looks like in the future if the best player on your team is the one calling all the shots, right? So it's interesting at the very least. But I mean, he could come to Toronto, shoot.
No, Messiah ain't having that. Messiah.
No, I don't think Messiah wants Harden in Toronto, but I know Messiah wants a superstar. But does he want Harden? Harden, I don't know. Like the guy, like he seems like a cool dude off court, but I just feel like he has no experience, and he's been making the dumbest decisions the last years with Rockets. He wanted Westbrook, he wanted Chris Paul, but then they left he left it's just. I feel like he's not really smart enough, no offense, to make personal decisions personally.
So here, I guess we're going to go through a quick list of his Harden's hit list.
Harden's hit list. I like that.
They had Melo. Melo was there. Dwight Howard came through. CP3, as you mentioned, Nelly J. Westbrook. Clint Capella. Gonzo. And lastly, John Wall. Now, here's the thing with John Wall, though. Remember, John Wall came in this year. So if the report is that he makes the final call with this, he was obviously in on John Wall. So I'm just not understanding why the rumor mill is saying that he's so adamant to leave if he called for John Wall to be there with him. So I don't know what spin is on this through the media. It's not making much sense to me, but I guess, over time we'll work it out. But let's see how this team does. I think, real quick, do you guys think he's going to stay or go? Because a lot of talk about him staying or going. Nelly J, what do you say? He's staying or going?
I think James Harden he wants to be he wants his name in the media. I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like he just wants his name in the mix. But James Harden needs to focus on playing ball and trying to win a ring. And all the distractions are not helping. I really think that if a team is willing to trade for him, he will go. And I'm not sure what happened. It kind of seems like something happened with the front office and James Harden. Maybe they're like, we're no longer going to give you directive power, and that's it. And he goes, oh, for real? Then I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Like those spoiled brats. Like, I feel like he had all this power for so long, and they cut the line off of him, and now he wants to leave. Because it's not because of Wall he wants to leave. It's like he wanted Wall there. So it just seems to me that front office and James Harden had a little fight, and he's not happy with them. So he wants to get them back by leaving. But they're like, bro, get your ass up in here or else you don't get paid. So we're going to see.
Do you think he's going to go, though?
No. I think Rockets will listen. I think Rockets will be petty like him and be like, "You're gonna stay here all year and not trade you anywhere." Real talk. But
what about you?
Yeah, sorry.
What about you, Nate?
Yeah, I think he's staying. If I'm honest, I think he's staying. I don't see anything out there in the market for him that he thinks he's gonna get a championship to leave. So he's pouting, but he's gonna stay.
I agree. I think at this point now, especially getting DeMarcus Cousins in there and John Wall. If he left this team now, it's not a good look for him because the team is obviously showing a commitment to keeping him. So he has no option right now. He's staying. I don't know. I guess the season's coming up and the media really needs a story. And this one seems to be sticking because every single day that seems the narrative. Harden, like, it's not even like it's anything concrete. It's like so-and-so. Harden wants to go to Sixers. Harden wants to go to, you know what I'm saying? Harden wants to.
What it's like? Harden is like, you know, the show The Bachelor? This guy has a rose and no one wants his rose. He's like, will you accept this rose? And they're like, nope, Milwaukee, nope. But like, he's the Bachelor of the NBA and no one wants his rose. Someone take Harden's rose, please. That's what he is to me, man. He's the Bachelor.
All right, Nelly J, let's go to For the Culture.
For the Culture, y'all. So you know the segment was to highlight people, groups that are doing big things for the culture. And today on deck, we have two For the Culture topics. Number one is the LeBron James Family Foundation. This week, news came out that they actually want to open a 60,000 square foot venue that will offer financial literacy advice, job training, and recreational training for youth in Akron, his hometown, which I thought is so amazing. So like, what's your thoughts? You know, LeBron keeps doing things for the culture. So he keeps coming up in our segment, but it just shows you that like LeBron literally never takes his foot off the gas. Like he wins championships and starts new foundation groups. He does this, like, and it's hard to hate this guy. Like, how can you hate LeBron? Because he's doing so much for the community during voting rights. So yeah, guys, what's your thoughts on LeBron's new project?
You want to go first?
You can go, Nate.
Yeah, I'm enthralled, man. I'm excited with what he's doing with what he has. I'm excited with the directives. Like, if you look at what he's trying to do, he's taking a holistic approach, and he's being mindful of everything they need. From when he did the school, and the school wasn't just, oh yeah, we created a building for you that may have a 1-2 mentors in it, and we're checking all the boxes of help. No, he said, well, we'll have food there for you so that you're not coming to school hungry and trying to learn on an empty stomach. You know what I mean? We're going to put in tangible things. We're going to make sure you guys have transportation. Like, he's thinking of all the things he actually needed when he was a kid and what actually got him to success. Mind you, of course, he's an anomaly, but still, those intangibles, a lot of time when you hear of stars doing these things, it seems like they're just checking boxes and they're not actually getting into the nitty gritty. And just like with this school, with this foundation, like the list of things I saw that he's implementing is really for the culture. It's really helping them on every level to reach success. So yeah, I'm with it.
That's right. LeBron, he's Time Magazine's Sports Person of the Year for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, he's doing so much right now that when he does these things, like, he's done so much that I think we're actually taking for granted.
Agreed.
You know,
yeah.
Like,
agreed.
That's all I can really say. He's just further cementing his legacy outside of the game.
Right.
So much. So we just have to salute him. That's all I have to do. Just salute him for what he's doing, and acknowledge it while it's here.
Yeah, and just to like add to what you both said, is just it reminds us as to why we're doing what we're doing, right? Sometimes we think about, oh, you do good things, but you have to also do things for other people as well, right? And I think LeBron is forever showing us how to give back, and not always have all that money, but giving back your time, mentoring, those small things, buying a family groceries, that, you know what I mean? Like those things are like, people need those things, right? So just helping a neighbor, a friend, a family member, encouraging someone, supporting a Black business, all those things are, those things matter. And LeBron is showing everyone that's an athlete, like, hey, yes, you can still win on the court and win off the court. And I'm just happy that he's doing this for Akron community. And I know the kids love him there. Like, imagine in Akron, like growing up and like LeBron is coming back. Like he's like giving these kids a new hope for like the world, which I think is so priceless.
Okay, I just have to say,
Mm-hmm.
it's Akron.
Oh, Akron? Oh, sorry. I have an accent, guys. I'm Trini.
The first time I let it slide. Second time, third time, no,
I always
you're
say it wrong. Like literally, my accent, I can't. So it's Akron. Is that Akron? Oh, really? I'm sorry, y'all. Akron, Lord. Ugh, my bad. You know how I do. Y'all know how I do. Like, just allow it. He was like, hold up. He just can't let me live, right? Can't let me be great. He can't let me be great out here. You know what I'm saying?
He tried. He said it was 3 strikes and you're out.
3 strikes, you're out. So Nate,
Great,
though,
yes.
you're definitely part of the For the Culture segment and what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so like
Jay,
you
set 'em
are a
up.
creator and you organize Sundé Social, but you also have a non-profit organization. So can you break down to the viewers what you've been up to? And, you know, because I think someone like you is like someone that really does dedicate time to uplift the culture. Because sometimes, you know, we need uplifting, right? As a Black person, Black woman, a Black man, there's things out there that we see that will make us not feel good about ourselves. But people like you try to uplift us with hosting events for us and by us. So can you kind of talk about Sundé Social and what that entails?
Okay, so Sundé Social, I guess it kind of had 3 parts to it, right? It had the networking and the business part, which is very important to us. It had the musical entertainment part, which also, you know, it also is a business part too. We tried to bring out young musicians. A lot of them, you know, they're phenomenal musicians, but they've never played for money. They've only played for church or for, you know, whatever offering is taken up for them. But trying to help them, teach them the professional side of things and how it actually looks. And the same thing with just bringing eyes to a lot of the artists. So we have like live painters who come and are a part of the program. We have spoken word artists, poets who come and are part of the program as well. So allowing us to be exposed to that. And then the third part is really a therapy part of it, where it's, you know, being in a space that is ours, you'd be surprised to see how much it feels like church outside of church. You know what I mean? Where we can feel comfortable and not look over our shoulders every second, where we can connect with people on a level where they may be strangers, but they know what we're going through. You know what I mean? When you hear the stories of the public lynchings that we're seeing in media, to be able to talk with somebody about that freely and openly, not only in the confines of your home. You know what I mean? That's a big deal. So I know for me, I used to go to this event called Live Thursdays. And
I remember Live Thursdays. Ooh,
right?
that's a throwback. Yes.
Listen, so I used to work, I've always been a worker, you know, but I'd be working like 13, 14-hour shifts and go there after work in my work clothes, because to be in that environment, to hear the music, to enjoy that, to be in the space with people, it's relaxing. It allows for a release, you know what I mean? So my business partner and I, when we decided to build this brand, and our partners that we worked with, that was what the feel we wanted, because we understand, you know, when you're a child, there's a bunch of programs for you. When you're a youth, you know, inner city programs. Well, what happens when you get to that adult age and like you're not able to connect with your people every single day? You're not seeing them at school. Your coworkers become closer than your friends sometimes. You know what I mean? So we tried to make the space really conducive to the family feel and to the progression feel. So like if like when you come up on stage to play a game, you get a gift from that comes from one of our Black supporters, and you get your 5 seconds of fame to talk about. We ask you who you are, where you're from, and what you do, so that now
I actually
you
won
can
a gift
connect.
one time. I actually won a gift. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
My first
So
one.
it's
I was like, what? I talk about myself. Okay, this is what I remember that. Yes, they do that. It's pretty
yeah,
dope.
and it's a big deal because it allows now other people to be exposed to that. You know what I mean? When you see somebody else who's doing something, period, but then even more so if they're doing something that you thought you wanted to do and they look like you, now it gives you another belief for it, right? Just like athletes, I know for me, when I went to my first professional game, it was a total different, like something switched in my mind, right? It becomes more possible and more realistic. So that exposure, I think, is necessary for our growth. But yeah, that's kind of what Sunday Social is and what it's about, and just one of the ways I'm trying to give back to our community and build more community so we can actually feel safe around each other and do better. Because once you feel that safety, you can kind of get to the heights you're supposed to be at, right? So yeah.
Go ahead, Faheem.
No, I was going to ask, how can one find out more about Sunday Social?
You could hit me up on Instagram. I think that's our biggest one. So my personal one is NATELFS. Our Sunday Social Instagram is SUND. Wait, where are we? Yeah, SUNDE SOCIAL. You can hit us up there, and we're very welcoming. We love hearing about new things that are happening and then promoting our people doing those new things as well.
I think it's dope. Guys, the event is amazing when Earth opens again. So during COVID, are you doing like online Sunday Social? Like how's that working now?
We've been trying to navigate it, man. It's a lot of pivoting, a lot of stepping into territory a lot of us aren't familiar with, and just trying to make it work, really. So we did a few of those. We did a little private getaway when we thought the world was opening back up. I think we were in phase 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're pivoting and trying to make it work as much as we can.
Okay. And then I guess our last point for the culture, if you can kind of tell us a quick little background around Collective Music Nation.
Oh, okay. CMN, real quick, we're trying to bridge the gap for everything urban. We don't really say that no more, but everything Black music in Canada. With our musicians, a lot of times you got to go away from Canada, get big before we even recognize you here, right?
So true.
But the reality is our musicians are a big part of us. And a lot of time the narrative is, from your parents, you can't be a musician, you can't be an artist. There's no safety and security in that. So the big thing that we're trying to do is build that structure, that safety, that security, that network. We've done things like, we just did a grant program for artists. We just worked out a partnership with AXTRA to use their same system for insurance. So now you can pay into insurance and actually have insurance, which is a big deal.
That's dope. Yeah, especially for like musicians too coming up.
Exactly. When you're in that gig economy, you may you'll work in restaurants and then you'll play in bars here and there, and then you'll sing, you'll make music. But a lot of people don't realize that there's an after that. So we're also working on a pension plan. But then alongside that, we're working on camps and education spots and different networking and workshops so that these young musicians can come up and see it as just like athletes, where there's so many things that surround actually being the star or actually being the artist, right? So now if you have education about that, you can still stay in that system, in that realm of entertainment, but now you find the areas to navigate to actually make money and then actually now have a future in it. So yeah,
that's amazing, bro. Well, kudos to both Sunday Social and CMN. I really hope you guys do well with that. And yeah, guys, check him out. We'll definitely have his socials in the caption. So support our own, y'all. You know how we do.
That's right. All right. So lastly, let's go to That's Absurd.
That's absurd. Faheem, bro. What was absurd this week? What was absurd?
Wow. So we have Jerry West, the logo, is being sued.
The logo's being sued.
The logo is being sued And I want to throw an allegedly to start this and allegedly to end this.
Allegedly
This
for
is
everything, y'all. Don't try
allegedly
to.
for everything. Okay. But the logo, he has an affiliation with the Clippers, and he's being sued for $2.5 million by a friend of Kawhi Leonard's because he had helped Kawhi. The friend had provided information that could help the Clippers land Kawhi. And he wasn't being compensated for his information. Absurd.
Absurd, bro.
First
of all, the Clippers went through all this lengths to get Kawhi. Like they went through like enough, like like I Spy, enough like James Bond. Like this is crazy to me. No, real talk though. Nate, your thoughts on this, bro?
It's wild because I don't know. It's a trippy situation because how close are you to the family and friends? Like, what is your connection to Kawhi, to his representation?
Let me answer that. Actually, he has very close ties to both Kawhi and Uncle Dennis.
And Uncle, right? But for me, it's like those close ties. Does that mean that you sat with Kawhi and said, "Yo, they want you"? He told me that if I come and get you, I get 2.5 mil. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what does that look like behind closed doors? And then also sitting with Jerry West and telling him this. Did you not get this on paper? Did you how did this work for you to now be suing? So
apparently, like the Clippers and Jerry West both agreed that they'll pay him that money if Kawhi goes to the Clippers.
So then, what are we even talking about? It's absurd that he has to sue them then. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's absurd. Like, what's absurd is that he has to sue them, but also the fact that the Clippers went to lengths to get someone like him to manipulate or help manipulate Kawhi to leave. Like, it's just an absurd situation entirely.
So let me give some context to this absurdity now. So first of all, in regards to information, I understand his point due to the fact that if he has an agreement with Jerry West to Kawhi and Uncle Dennis, right? He was able to provide Jerry West and the rest of the organization information that would actually make this signing go more smoothly. So it comes down to the value information. So the value information that he provided, it may seem small and insignificant, but sometimes those small and insignificant things actually they matter and they're big. You know what I'm saying? You need to, sometimes there's things you need to know. And if you don't know them, that's where you get hurt. But here's the real absurdity of this. So remember, he's in a disagreement with Jerry West, and we can say the Clippers organization with this, right? But keep in mind, the owner of the Clippers is the richest owner in North America. Yeah. And he's top 10 in the world. Like Steve Ballmer is one of the founding members of Microsoft. His net value right now, his net worth is about 70 billion, not 70 million with an M, 70 billion.
Stupid.
This gets so much more absurd as we discuss this.
Crazy, rich, stupid rich.
Right.
What he is.
to think that this a 2.5 million
$2 to him, bro.
is even a dispute right now. To think the end result, the fact is, it's not like they made this agreement to get Kawhi and Kawhi didn't come. Kawhi's there. So I'm not understanding. So the complete absurdity of 70 billion you have, break the man off his cheddar and keep it moving.
Yeah, facts.
Faheem drops the mic, bro. That's a whole drop mic right there. Nothing to add, guys. Nothing to add. Like, you said it all. It's absurd, y'all. I would say this is a Hall of Famer absurd, like at least top 5 absurdity for the year of 2020. Real talk.
I'm with that. Allegedly, once again.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
All right, so let's put this in the books.
Woo! We got Nate in the building, y'all, and Faheem said Nate. Yo, Nate, thanks for coming through to Good Rookies, y'all. We appreciate you so much. On the way out, Nate, we have to give our guests a chance to do their shout out. So who or what do you want to shout out today, bro?
Okay, shout outs. Let's see. Dang, I'm gonna shout out the moms and pops that are dealing with so much, especially ones with multiple children during this COVID time. Some schools not open or open, whether you sent your kid in or you're doing school at a distance. I know it can't be easy. The dynamics greatly change. You know, back in the day, you had some time away from your kids, and especially if they're at that age where they're on your last nerve.
And yeah,
man, I feel for y'all, and my heart goes out to you guys. So I'm just shouting y'all out.
Nice. All right, yo. So I'm gonna do my shout out. Shout out to Nate for being here, bro. Like, you're definitely a pinnacle of our community. I am so happy that you were able to bless us with your presence. You know, big up Sundé Social, big up Canadian musical. What's it called? CMN, right? CMN.
Yeah.
And definitely, you know, guys, support our own and support what he's up to. So big up to Nate. I want to do a big shout out to Drake. If y'all heard, Drake has joined Athletes and will have his own brand partnered with Nocta with Nike. So big up to Drake. You know, it's a huge thing. Like, most athletes get their own brand, and now Drake has his own brand under Nike, which is insane. So that's an iconic move for him. So big up to Drake.
Nice. Shout out to Nate once again. Big up. Also, I want to shout out the Toronto Argonauts.
Why?
They just dropped a new logo. I know I've been kind of harsh on CFL.
You've been hard on CFL for the last year, bro.
I have. This is enough to maybe swing around and maybe peep in and see what's happening with some of the games. But I'll say this. The logo
really? So a logo has made you now want to support Toronto Argonauts.
That's wild.
It's
must be a good logo, y'all. We gotta look it up.
Yeah.
We gotta look up that logo after the show. Mercy.
Like, I've seen the ads for it, but if I'm honest, I never watched them long enough to see the full logo pop up. It's like it comes from the bottom of the screen, and I just scroll up because I know it's an ad. But now I gotta go look at this bad boy.
Yeah, I know it's clever. It's a clever thing. They're called the Argonauts. Has to do with just sailing. Anyway, check it out yourself. Shout out to Toronto Argonauts. Rebrand, much needed, and you knocked it out the park. So good job.
Much needed.
Hey.
I'm deading. All right, y'all. That was episode 18, guys.
18. That's right.
Woo! Big up, guys. So check out Nate, guys. As you know, this is our second to last episode for the year. So please subscribe, like, and share with a friend.
That's right. Share to a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts app. Anywhere you want to check a podcast, we're there for you. That's episode 18, Good Rookies Podcast. And we out. Peace.